Good morning, family. What is the spirit of Python? Let's talk about it. The spirit of Python is the spirit that comes in to distract you and to get you off track. If there is something that God has asked you to do, He is going to come in and He is going to constrict, because a python's job, they're constrictors. They're constrictor snakes. So, in order to understand a spirit, you basically, it's like, I don't want to say it's common sense, but it really is common sense, and I don't want to offend anybody with it. But if a demon or a deity takes on a representation of a serpent or an owl or any of God's creation, Satan and his demons cannot create things. They are a created being as we are. So they have to imitate. They have to mock. They have to copy. They are copycats, okay? They copied the Most High. Okay? So if you have the spirit of Python, it is going to reflect the actual reptile. What it does physically is what the demon does spiritually. There's a balance. And I know in movies, you've always seen like the two sides. Well, it's exactly like that. Like, picture the spiritual realm as someone took our world right now, copied and pasted it, and put it right on top. So, I know it sounds crazy. If you picture a world on top of ours, and they can see us, but we cannot see them unless you're spiritually inclined. That is how the spiritual realm works. Okay? So, when a demon copies an actual animal or creature or being that God created, they have to take on their traits. So, the actual python in real life is a boa constrictor. It constricts, it suffocates until it kills. A demon's job is to kill, steal, and destroy. So if you're dealing with the spirit of Python, the first thing that demon is going to do is he is going to try and suffocate whatever he's attacking. If it's your finances he's attacking, your finances will dry up. If it's your children he's attacking, you will see your children start to misbehave, start to act out, start to do things that are out of their character that they normally wouldn't do. It is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And especially once parents realize that, you can better protect your children because you'll know what you're fighting for. I feel like this is why God didn't call me to be a mom, because He needed me to help other people realize that the spiritual realm is so real. And demons, we made it to adulthood. Yes, they would love to take our lives and to take us out and destroy us, but they don't. We're like lower on the list. They want your children. They want the innocence of the child. They want the young vessel. If a demon can get in a child, it will have a vessel for years. Think about it. If that child is not religious, I'm sorry, Holy Spirit, not religious, because you do not want the religious spirit. If that child or that family does not have a relationship with God and Jesus, that means that demon has just been rewarded a vessel for the next 34 years. Do you see? Demons think in generations. They don't care so much about the adults, but they want the adults so they can affect the children. That is why, as parents, you affect your children so much. If you neglect your child, it's going to affect them in adulthood. If you're not loving and supportive, that is going to affect your child in adulthood. For me, I always thrived on being alone because there was 7 of us. There was always, mom always had something. You never really got one-on-one with mom because mom was always running all over the place. She had a lot of responsibilities. But that affects your children. I know a lot of women don't understand that. got cut off. But I understand that you have 4 or 5 children, but you end up neglecting your children because you are running all over the place trying to work, trying to do this, trying to do that. Your child feels neglected, feels unloved, and guess what comes in to comfort it? A demon. I had to get delivered from a legion. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not ashamed either. I was riddled. I was riddled with demons, and they entered in the womb. Upon leaving, they will tell you how they entered too. They entered in the womb. Mom was being beaten while I was in her stomach, while many of my siblings were in her stomach. This is why we deal with what we deal with. We deal with so many spiritual problems, is because it starts in the womb. Your parent. There was a quote, and I know a lot of people hated it in the early 2000s. They were just like, blame the parents. But yeah, I'm sorry. Blame the parents. I had to take on the sins of my mother and my father and my grandfather and my great grandmother, and the sins of your parents fall onto the children. It is written in the Bible. It's biblical. It's letting you know that if your parents are cowards and they don't want to deal with these spirits, that you are going to have to deal with them. Generational curses. But especially the spirit of Python. If the spirit, and I can't even say he because demons don't have genders. It loves family dynamics, especially if there's any toxicity in there. It's just a little smidge, or if there's any trauma or any child molestation, anything like that y'all thrown under the ropes. Oh, that spirit loves to get in those families. He adored my mother's side of the family. Adored it. And my dad's side. Honestly, I don't really know them much, but I hear just terrible things to the point where that's why Mom kept us away. So that's what I'm saying. The spirit of Python will literally constrict. So let's just keep it on me. My family dynamic was already difficult. It was already, not the best. So, of course, with the spirit of Python and Leviathan, they'll come in, make you haughty, make you proud, that spirit will come in, and it taught us in our family, we won't be beat. We'll be the beaters. And that's exactly what Satan wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. To reciprocate that violence. And it worked for a long time until I came to the realization of it, of what the demons in our bloodline were actually trying to do, and had to decide not to be that, not to deal with that anymore. But you have to make that conscious decision, and a lot of people don't want to do that. But when Python comes in, he will constrict any friendship, any relationship, your finances. He will try to suffocate the life out of anything that you have given the devil a gateway or a doorway to. So it's if all of a sudden you were doing great and then it feels like everything is just being like slowly suffocated, it is the spirit of Python. That is who you have to pray against. That is who you need to fast against. This is the demon that will bring, like Leviathan, bring in so many others and could make your life an ultimate living hell. Python. Let me pull up some characteristics and then I'll read them off to you.
I don't know the answer to that specific question, but according to JenniferLeClaire.org, symptoms of a Python attack may include weariness, a loss of passion to worship and pray, feeling pressured, overwhelmed, helpless, and even hopeless.
That lately has been exactly what I felt, what I'm dealing with. And I know that many others are dealing with it, and that's why God has let it put it on my spirit to do this short little episode on discerning of spirits about the spirit of Python, because that is his job. That is what it does. I keep calling it a him because it's just giving a masculine energy. That's just personal opinion. Like I said, demons don't have genders. But in my head, even though demons don't have genders, Lucifer is a dude. You know what I mean? Like Jezebel's a female. Like, it's just, in my mind, I have male and femaleized every demon. But maybe that's a personal, like, insult in my head. I don't know. But I will say, if you notice any of these traits, that's the spirit you're dealing with. That is who you need to pray against. That is who you need to study against. Because you need to study to show yourself approved. That is biblical. That is biblical. But you have to know where to start. And I know for a lot of people, studying demons and studying spirits gets them scared. It's intimidating. I was that little weird girl growing up where the demons wanted me so badly that I had a fascination with darker things, even at like 3, 4, 5 years old. I would dissociate. I would rock. I would go into like trance-like states. I was really into like Beetlejuice, All Real Monsters, Tales of the Crypt Keeper. I mean, things that a little girl probably shouldn't. Like, when I say I was possessed, I'm not kidding. Like, those demons had me in my youth, and it was nothing I did. It was, they entered me through the womb, through my mother's womb. From her choices and my father's choices to choose to do crack cocaine and to beat his wife. And yes, like, trauma will do a lot to you, especially a child in the womb. So mothers, please, I don't know how many times I have to beg my sisters not to just lay down with any man who, or female that says, I love you, or, oh, I have feelings for you. It doesn't matter. A demon is flattering. Demons are flattering. And they know exactly what to say to get you to take your panties off when you're unhealed. Yeah. So that spirit, if you notice that in your life, you'd better pray, because I'm telling you, sis, if you notice the spirit of Python, there's other spirits there. Or plaguing you. Like, they don't have to, once you're delivered, they're not in you. I need to specify. They don't possess you, they oppress you. And if you don't know the difference between those words, please look it up. And like I said, study to show yourself approved. There's a difference between oppression and possession. And I hope you know that. But once you give your life to Christ and you're covered by the blood and you fully surrendered, you will no longer be possessed. You will be oppressed, because those demons hate to have a real child of God on God's team. So know that. Know that. The battle will get harder once you call out these demons, but life gets so much peacefuler. I know that's, not the best of words, but life is so peaceful and happy not being plagued with demons.